show you how to modify the chair for yourself to work for your body. Okay? Most chairs are so deep, and again the theory on that is to allow the body to rest back. And the design happens by from the back of the knee to the back of the chair is what's supposed to support the legs, therefore the pelvis, and therefore the back. But again, most people don't use it quite like that. They use it more in this position where they're sitting a little bit forward with their pelvis. That makes this back, when I sit in that position, that makes this back too far back for me, so it puts me into the slump. Years ago, I used to modify everybody's car seats with duct tape and foam. But in the meantime, I realized I needed to make hard products so people would have many choices, because no two bodies are exactly alike, and depending on how we've used our body through the years, from being a child to an adult to an older adult, the body has certain restrictions from or limitations from injuries, skiing and car accidents and so on and so forth. So even though we'd like to be sitting in a certain way, we may have a leg that has to be straight because since that particular knee surgery, it swells up too much if we can't have it fairly straight. So that person needs to sit more on the front of the chair, etc., etc. So when a chair is too deep, we have a whole line of products of backs of all sizes. I'm going to use this one right now here, and it has a thick end and a thin end. I use it at the top here to support this part of my thoracic spine, yeah? So it puts me more forward instead of most seats lean back and the thoracic spine is quite curved. This goes for airplane seats, this goes for car seats, etc., etc. So I would use it to fill in that space. You could use it in an opposite way, and these ties are for tying it onto the seat so that it stays in place and you always have it the way you want it, as opposed to falling out when you get out of the car. If I put the thick end here, which is also beveled, you might be able to see, I could put it at my sacrum if my sacrum needed particular support there, okay? So in this case, this feels really comfortable to me for resting. I'm sitting back talking, I'm watching television, etc., etc. If I were in a recliner, for example, this would still keep my body in a fairly neutral position. Instead of the more I lean it back, the more it puts me into this slump. Okay. So many chairs with this concavity in the design really do put us a little bit too much into just the flexion of the position of the pelvis. And so if we can fill that in, and these are beveled to fit the car seats as well, then what happens is now I can sit back in the chair, and can you see that my body is quite supported to be able to work for quite some time. Look at the size of the thighs. They're looking rather normal, okay? And you have many options. You have a thin back, a thick back, a standard back, a thin seat, etc. One of the other things that might work for you is a short seat, that it's only to fill in that area that's most concave, so that allows me to even feel more upright in this seat because of it's just lifting my pelvis a little higher than my legs, so my legs can slant down without having all of that width that comes into them. The short seat often fits cars that don't have very much headroom. For people of a certain height, this is the short seat, or the thin, beveled, standard seat, okay? Sometimes these designs, the ergo triangle seat or the universal pillow, are all people need to make an airplane seat work, a car seat work, or an exercise class work. So they would be used here for seating, here or here for the back, or there, depending on where you want it placed. I really find I travel with my ergo triangle all the time on airplanes, car rentals, etc., etc. But I also find that this is great for sitting on stools or this type of chair. So you can see how it slants back. Okay? I can just use this, and my legs are free to sit on my pelvis. My legs are free. So it puts me in a neutral position. This is excellent for the floor, for exercise, for yoga class, for sitting on machines at the gym. Okay? So here I am, here in this position, on the floor, reaching, doing whatever I'm doing, rotating, etc., etc. And watch the difference. Here I am. I took the support out. Okay, I could self-correct by doing something like this, efforting and lifting myself up. Now everything is tight, but not in a neutral position. So now I'm limited in the range that I can do because I'm running into the positional tension, not the tension of my body. So when I put myself in a better neutral position, I'm just freed up. The other ones that I just mentioned to you was this universal, and this one is just great. I can't go anywhere without this. So many clients now use this for sleeping, to fill in the space between the head pillow and maybe the knee pillow, but often right here is where we need this support. So this is called the universal pillow, but it can be used as a pillow for the head. When I had my arm in a sling, I had to use a pillow to support my arm at sleep, when I was sleeping. It can be used for a stomach pillow, and so on and so on. There are so many ways to modify. Sometimes people simply prefer 2 universal pillows. So one for seating and one for the back. I want to talk about just a couple more solutions for you for sitting. This is called our thick seat, and it's excellent for exercise, for toning on the floor, many aspects of exercise. But sometimes when people have a bench seat in their truck or at the office, they prefer just sitting on a plain old bench, something flat. This gives you the thickness in the back and less height in the front, so it pitches you a little bit forward and balances out chairs that slant back, for example. So many times people will use these on dining room chairs, etc. So it gives you just enough of a pitch to play with, being able to eat comfortably, and so on and so forth. The other thing is that in flying, often people who are 6 foot and above really prefer this as their seat of choice when they're traveling. So it has a handle, and you can just carry it in and tell people, you know, as you're boarding the plane, that this is an ergonomic solution for your back. But it just raises you up enough so if you are sitting higher up, your knees aren't running into the seat in front of you as you are when you're sitting low and you have that length. I also want to talk to you about this knee pillow. Now, this is a great one for driving. So often what happens is that people are accelerating with the right leg and crossing to the brake like so, and they get into a lot of stress in the hip flexors, the squeezing of the knee in this held position, and the ankle. Okay, so originally when I designed this, it was for the knee to allow people to move more horizontally from the foot from the accelerator to the brake, having to lift up all the time. And the people that were commuters, oh my goodness, they were so grateful, because you know, you drive a second or two and then you put on the brake and you drive, and so on and so forth. So this helped remedy that. I use it for, you can decide if this works for you, but I use it to help me with the being short and having my seat all the way forward. the seatbelt is somewhat strangling me, and I end up with quite a bit of neck tension, shoulder tension, if I don't use this to help neutralize the seatbelt. People can use it for a head pillow, particularly during exercise, etc., etc. And then a very simple solution for any seat where you just want a little bit of support for the pelvis. It's important to have some neutralization from the concavity of seat design. This gel seat works. It is gel, therefore it's mobile, and it just gives you that hint of support for the pelvis. So notice the difference, me sitting here with just the gel seat and me sitting without the gel seat. Okay? And the only difference is that when the pelvis and the thighs are on the same line, the pelvis rolls under. Okay? So this is the same design as my Ergo that I designed way back, all of these in 1983. And there's the gel seat. So I'm hoping that this gives you many, many ideas that you do not have to be dictated to by the design of your chair. You do not need an expensive chair. I cannot tell you the number of clients who bring me into their home office with their $1,500 ergonomic top-of-the-line chair, and I still just use 1 or 2 wedges, and they go, wow, that made it all work so much better. So I just wanted you to have these ideas, and give us a call at Aston Kinetics, or write to us at, through our website, astonkinetics.com, or through the office at astonkinetics.com. And we'd be happy to hear from you. Okay, I hope this is helpful.